Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive on Jurassic Park. Today we're going to be talking about why this film is still such a huge deal all these years later. We'll be looking at the amazing special effects and, all the ethical questions it brings up about science going too far. And of course, we've got to talk about the characters who have to deal with, messing with nature. Get ready for some serious debate about what makes Jurassic Park a total classic for sci-fi fans like us.
It really is amazing how Jurassic Park gets us thinking about dinosaurs. But also, you're right, it makes us think about what happens when science goes too far. It's not just a monster movie. It makes you really think about what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that gets you right away is how they brought those dinosaurs to life. The special effects were like nothing we'd ever seen before. They mixed puppets and computers so well. Remember that shot of the Brachiosaurus, like towering over everyone? It was mind-blowing. And even now, those effects look incredible.
It's crazy how real they made it look. And they didn't just use computers. Stan Winston and his team built these amazing dinosaur robots. So the actors had something real to act with. That realness makes such a difference compared to just using computers.
Totally. It's like you can feel the weight of those giant creatures.
Yeah.
And that's what makes those first scenes with the dinosaurs so powerful. You're right there with the characters.
And that feeling of awe is really important because it lets the movie explore those deeper themes you were talking about, like, science messing with things it shouldn't. John Hammond, the guy who built Jurassic Park, he's all about pushing the limits of science. But he gets so caught up in how cool it all is that he forgets about how dangerous it could be.
Right. Like when he says spared no expense, you can tell he's ambitious, but he doesn't see the risks. He just wants to make the coolest thing ever and doesn't think about what could go wrong.
Exactly. And that's where Ian Malcolm comes in. He's the voice of reason. He's the one who gets that messing with complex systems can be chaotic.
Right. He's got that famous line, "Life finds a way." It's not just a cool quote. It's like a basic rule of how unpredictable nature is and how we can't really control it. And that idea is even more relevant today, with all the advancements in genetics and biotechnology. It's like we're about to be able to change life in ways Hammond could only dream of. So the question Jurassic Park asks is more important than ever. Just because we can do something, should we?
Yeah, it really makes you think. And that question haunts the other scientists in the movie too, like Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler. At first they're excited like Hammond, but as things start falling apart, they have to think about, is this right? They see how incredible these creatures are, but also how dangerous things can get when people try to control nature.
And it's that struggle inside them, between wanting to learn and knowing what's right. That makes them such interesting characters. They're not just stereotypes, they're real people dealing with the consequences of what they're doing. And realizing that maybe there are some lines we shouldn't cross.
Yeah, for sure. And the movie definitely shows us what happens when those lines get crossed. The dinosaurs get loose. And it's chaos. It's a pretty stark reminder that we can't control nature.
As we keep going deeper into the movie, we'll see how these themes of ambition, responsibility, and the power of nature keep playing out, leading to this crazy and thought-provoking ending that will make you question how far science should go and what it means to play God.
It's a movie that sticks with you. It makes you think about that balance between our fascination with the natural world and our responsibility to respect its power.
Exactly. And that's exactly why Jurassic Park is a timeless classic for sci-fi fans like us.
You know what's interesting to me is how Jurassic Park uses all the different dinosaurs to show different parts of this whole idea. You've got the big plant eaters, like the Brachiosaurus, showing how awesome nature is. And then you have like the velociraptors showing the wild side of nature.
Oh yeah, definitely. And each time they meet these creatures, it gets more and more intense. It makes the characters and us watching realize how vulnerable we are. You see them being smart and tough, but you also see how brutal nature can be. It's like this back and forth between being scared and fascinated.
Yeah, totally. And it's cool how the movie plays with what we expect. We're all ready to be terrified of the T-Rex, the king of the dinosaurs. But it's the velociraptors that turn out to be even scarier. They're smart and they hunt together. It's a different kind of scary.
Yeah, it's their intelligence that's so creepy. Remember that scene in the kitchen? The kids trying to outsmart the raptors? It's so suspenseful, even though you kind of know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Spielberg is such a good director. He knows how to make you feel that tension. And it's not just jump scares or loud noises. He builds it up slowly and lets your imagination fill in the blanks.
And we can't forget the music. John Williams did an amazing job. The music makes every scene better. From when we first see the dinosaurs to the chase scenes, it's like the music is telling you how to feel.
Oh, it's iconic for sure. The music makes you feel the awesomeness of the dinosaurs, but also how dangerous they are. It's like another character in the movie.
That's why I think Jurassic Park has stuck with people for so long. It's not just a dinosaur movie. It's about how we connect with nature and whether we can really control it and what happens when we try.
Yeah, it's deep. It doesn't give you all the answers. It leaves you with questions and feeling uneasy, but also with this new respect for nature.
For sure. And that brings us to another interesting thing about Jurassic Park, its legacy. The movie made people interested in dinosaurs again and got everyone talking about the ethics of cloning and genetic engineering.
It's wild how much it impacted culture. Museums were packed, dinosaur toys were everywhere. Even now, the Jurassic Park movies are still popular. It shows how powerful stories can be and how fascinated we are with dinosaurs.
But it's not just nostalgia. The things Jurassic Park talks about are even more relevant now than they were back then. We're in this time of crazy technological advancements with gene editing and AI, so the questions the movie asks about what science should and shouldn't do are even more important now.
Absolutely. Jurassic Park reminds us that we got to be careful when we're messing with life itself. Just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. We have to think about what could happen before we do things we can't undo.
Right. It's like opening Pandora's box. Once it's open, you can't close it.
Exactly.
And like Ian Malcolm said, life finds a way.
Which is kind of scary when you think about it. It means that even if we have good intentions, trying to control nature might just blow up in our faces.
It's a serious thought. It makes you realize that we're not above nature. We're part of it. And as we talk more about the ethical questions in Jurassic Park, we'll see what that means for us and the choices we make.
It's a big debate that goes beyond just science fiction. It's something we need to talk about right now as we figure out how to handle all this new technology.
And Jurassic Park is the perfect way to start that conversation. It's fun and exciting,
Mm.
but it also makes you think. It encourages us to really question what we're doing
It is.
and think about the consequences
Yeah.
of our search for knowledge and power.
And that's what really gets me about Jurassic Park. It's not just about dinosaurs and cool effects. It's about us. It's about the choices we make and, what happens because of them and the responsibility we have for those choices.
Yeah, totally. The characters are so well written. They each have a different view on how far science should go and, how we fit in with nature. Like you've got Hammond, who's just blinded by what he wants to do. And then Malcolm, who's like warning everyone, and Grant and Sattler, who are trying to figure out what they believe.
Exactly. And that's what makes the movie so interesting. You see them change as the story goes on. They have to face their own beliefs and make hard choices when everything's going crazy. And it reminds you that we can all do good or bad things. And sometimes it's hard to tell the difference.
It really makes you think about what you would do in that situation. Would you be like Hammond all excited about it, or would you be more like Malcolm? I think it makes all of us look at our own values.
That's what's so great about Jurassic Park. It's entertaining, but it also makes you think it stays with you even after it's over. And you start thinking about how science is changing things and how easily things can get out of balance.
Going back to those fan reviews we talked about earlier, it's clear that Jurassic Park really changed things. It made people obsessed with dinosaurs again and led to a lot of new research and inspired a whole new generation of scientists.
Absolutely. It's amazing how the movie brought these creatures back to life. Museums were suddenly packed and dinosaurs were everywhere in books, toys, video games, everything. It shows you how powerful stories are and how much we love these prehistoric creatures.
And that hasn't gone away. The Jurassic Park movies maybe aren't as thought-provoking as the original, but they still capture that sense of wonder and adventure. It shows that our love for dinosaurs is timeless. They're just so powerful and majestic.
Right. But besides being entertaining, Jurassic Park also warns us. It reminds us that nature is powerful and that trying to control it can have really bad consequences. It's a lesson we need to remember, especially now with all the new technology we have.
It's more important now than ever. We're dealing with climate change and losing so many species, we have to think about what we're doing to the planet. Jurassic Park shows us that we're not above nature, and that if we want to survive, we have to respect how everything works together.
So as we finish up our deep dive on Jurassic Park, I want to leave you with something to think about. If you could, would you visit Jurassic Park knowing what could happen?
That's a tough question, right? Would you risk it just to see these amazing animals? It makes you think about how much you like adventure, but also about whether it's even right to do something like that.
Jurassic Park doesn't give us easy answers. It makes us think hard about how we relate to science, to nature, to what it means to be alive. And that's what makes it a classic, a film that people still love after all these years.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you learned something new and that it got you thinking. And remember, as you go through this crazy world, Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep the spirit of Jurassic Park alive.